month, the first Saturday in the month. And that means it's time for your legal corner with Attorney Dahlia Walker. Sitting in for Attorney Dahlia Walker, we have none other than Mr. Attorney Wayne Golden. He's the Jamaica Diaspora representative and also an immigration attorney himself. Attorney Golden, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Sir Eddie. It's always good to be with you guys, and thank you for having me fill in for the illustrious and talented Dahlia Walker Huntington, who unfortunately is not available today. So she threw the gauntlet down and said, Wayne, you have to do this for me. So you know it is. When Dahlia asks, you respond.
You too, I see. Well, immigration is such a hot topic now. I'm sure you've got some good information to share with our listeners.
Well, good information in terms of some of the do's and the don'ts, especially for those people in what we call immigration peril. Of course, with this new administration, we have seen the ratcheting up of enforcement. And like I said to somebody earlier today, it's not necessarily because they've changed any laws per se. It's because they're deciding to enforce not only the laws on the books, but they're also doing what is called no discretion. The instructions from the Attorney General to the people out in the field, whether it's the government attorneys that you deal with in immigration court every day or the ICE agents who are actively out there, trying to encounter people who do not have proper paperwork. They're telling them, do not exercise any discretion. So we're seeing a lot more people being detained for things that ordinarily they would just give you a notice to go to immigration court and you'd sort it out then. We're seeing much more emphasized enforcement in places that people don't ordinarily think about. Of course, we've been warning of these things for years, and we have spoken about it in several different forums, especially on the Greyhound buses. Now we're seeing, or the public transportation, we're seeing more and more interaction between ICE agents and passengers, which it has been happening for a long time, Eddie. It's really nothing new for us who are in the immigration field, because we do see that. But the general public, because of social media now, is seeing it live, up front and direct. And they're seeing that they don't discriminate in terms of the age of the person, the race of the person. They're asking everybody for their identification, which they can do within 100 miles of any border. And, of course, an airport is considered a border.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be a physical border per se.
Right.
So we're seeing more and more. And for those people who are not documented, they need to pay attention. They need to not put themselves out there and make the jobs easier for these guys, so to speak, because it's their job at the end of the day. And we're not telling people to do anything illegal. But if you're in a position where you don't have what you're supposed to have, don't be out there driving your car around without any driver's license. Don't be taking unnecessary risk. We're telling people it's a serious time we live in. And the most important thing, you have to understand that it's very easy now for immigration to come into contact with you, because most of the cities who consider themselves sanctuary cities in the past, who would not share information with immigration authorities, are now doing that, because they have basically been put in a corner in terms of the funding that they get from the federal government, and they don't want to give up the sort of funding, and they're now sharing information. So when somebody gets arrested per se in some counties now or some cities, they're actually informing and sharing the information with the immigration authorities, who will come in and check the person's status. So somebody might get arrested for driving with an expired driver's license per se, but once they go into that system, they might not come back out. They might head straight to the immigration detention. And of course, for immigration detention, people should understand they can place you anywhere in the U.S.
Well, one of the questions, Attorney Golden, that I really want to ask you, because I see, and I think most of us have gotten this, because this is some advice, and I don't know how official it is, circulating via my cell phone, via text, via WhatsApp, saying if you have a green card, as a green card holder, or as an immigrant, even a citizen, a naturalized citizen, there are certain things that you should do. Make a copy of your keep the original copy of, walk around with your green card and keep a copy somewhere. Have you seen that circulating, and what are your thoughts on that advice?
I've seen it circulating. I don't know the source from which it comes. It just says embassy in Washington. But I must tell you, some of the things in there are dead on, are spot on. For example, a lot of people don't know that it is actually a law that you must carry your green card on you at all times if you're a green card holder.
Okay.
A lot of people will say, well, I don't want to carry it because I'm afraid I'll lose it. But it's actually a misdemeanor offense not to have that green card on. So what we're encouraging people to do, of course, is make a copy of it, leave it at home. If you lose it, you can always reapply and get it back.
Okay.
So people have to understand that. And also keep your green card valid. There are a lot of people who let their green card expire. It doesn't mean that you lose your status, but what it means is that there are certain things that you cannot do with an expired green card. You cannot renew your driver's license. An employee will probably terminate you if you cannot prove that you have a current green card. And of course, for those of us who are citizens who have taken that step, and that's what we want everyone who's qualified to do. Of course, if you have certain things in your background, make sure you check with an immigration lawyer before you make that step, because there are a lot of people who like to do these things on their own, and then it turns out into a nightmare, or they put themselves at peril because they've had some sort of criminal conviction in their background or whatever that really will prevent them from becoming a citizen, but also open them to be put in deportation. But if you're a citizen walking around, there's really no requirement that you carry something to prove that you're a citizen. But what do we say in the islands? Prevention is better than cure.
Right.
Because if you declare to them, if you come in contact with the ICE or the authorities, and they want to know your immigration status, and you say, I am a U.S. citizen, that is supposed to be good enough.
Right.
And if they then don't believe you and take you into custody or whatever, that is going to be a big problem for them, especially if you come and talk to somebody like myself and Delia.
Right.
They will pay dearly for that. But you don't want to put yourself in that position. It's not a nice position to be in. So you have a smartphone. Take a picture of your passport, take a picture of your citizenship certificate, take a picture of your passport card, keep it on your smartphone, because prevention is always better than cure. And it's better than just getting up into the authorities' face and say, well, I'm a citizen and I have my rights or whatever. You don't want to be locked down. You don't want to be detained. You don't want that situation, because small things can turn out into bigger things. Next thing, they say you're being aggressive, and it turns out into some tragedy.
All right. We have 30 seconds, Attorney Golden. How do you want to wrap this up?
Well, as usual, I want to wrap it up by telling all our persons who are qualified to get their citizenship, please don't lay around. Go and do it, because at the end of the day, you will not only be helping yourself, but you'll be helping your community by becoming a constituency that can speak, that can vote. And also, looking into the future, they are planning, one of the plans they have is to stop relative migration. So file for any and everybody that you can file for now, because we don't know what direction that is going to go in there. They want to cut legal immigration by 50%, and it means they would cut out certain categories of filing, sisters and brothers filing for each other. It may even come down to, who knows, husband filing for wife. We don't know. Okay. So if you're in that position where you can file for relatives now, please do it, or get your citizenship so you can do that.
All right. Attorney Will Golden, your legal corner for the month of February. Thank you so much, sir, and catch up with you next time around.
Absolutely. Take care. Thank you guys for what you're doing.
All right. 3 at 3, Eddie Cleve, Jillian, Caribbean Rhythms, 880 AM.